What's going on, YouTube? It's been some time, but we on time. Hey, welcome to the channel. Now, today we're gonna talk about something that's going on across the country, but specifically in Kansas City. We're gonna talk about the Westport area. Now, the Westport area is one of three major nightlife areas, and it's really frequented by, I'll say, 30s, mid 30s, late 20s. Nice place to shop. But now, right now, in 2026, there's a federal RICO filed by three brothers, Christopher Lee, Mario Gray, and Robert Thorpe. Now, these three men have dreams, concepts, and capital. They tried to open bars and clubs in the Westport area, but they were met with a coordinated scheme and conspiracy to push them out.
Many businesses have tried, but I do know that we have three plaintiffs in this case. And surprisingly enough, Roland, we actually filed a third amended complaint in March of this year because what we found, we've added another claim of civil conspiracy because what we found was that these business owners were reaching out to Black entrepreneurs and basically trying to get them to conspire to now take over leases in this area in order to refute the discrimination charges that we have. Thanks to witnesses, thanks to people coming forward, we have recordings, we have transcripts where literally two businesses are offering a $300,000 investment to a Black entrepreneur to say, hey, come get in here. This entrepreneur himself admits on tape that they were trying to refute the discrimination claim. So this RICO, this conspiracy just continues to grow. And we are so fortunate that we keep ending up with all of the evidence.
Now, with this lawsuit, this RICO is a major chapter in Kansas City history. It represents a collision between the city's historic gatekeeping and a new generation of entrepreneurs that demand a seat at the table. And as a 50-year-old man, I've seen the evolution of Westport from its heyday, as I said, its premier city nightlife. But I've also seen it when they had metal detectors and barricades all around it, making it very uncomfortable. Now in my mid-20s, I frequented down there, in two clubs. One of the clubs is Kelly's. And Kelly's, the funny thing about that is, in that spot, that's where they actually sold people, Black people, slaves. But you don't think about that when you're younger, and as we get older, you start to wonder why there's no Black establishments there.
Is that Kansas City Regulated Director Jim Reddy showed Westport CID how to circumvent its own ordinances in order to push through its Good Neighbor Agreement. This Good Neighbor Agreement precisely bargains for liquor licenses. On the voting form for liquor license, it squarely says you cannot bargain for this. Not only was the CID and different business owners turning in this consent form lying, saying that they weren't bargaining for it, but they were turning it in squarely to the person who told them how to use these Good Neighbor Agreements to get around his own ordinances. And shockingly enough, he up and resigned in February. No 2 weeks notice, no notice of anything. So we are currently naming Jim Reddy and the city of Kansas City in our third amended complaint. And we want the city to be responsible for what is allowed to happen for far too long.
You know, it's funny. They don't say Black people are not allowed anymore. Now they're concerned about the type of crowd. Safety is a word of inclusion. Mario Gray has signed a lease at this property to open up a club. So they questioned him on the music he was going to be playing. And the next day when he appeared to open his club, he was locked out. And allegedly, another landlord paid him $100,000 just to stay away, just walk away from everything. And it's terrible. That's how bad they didn't want him there or his money. Now the Urban League and Gwen Grant have stepped in because they see the bigger picture in the future.
was that this is just the continuation of what we consider to be the historical restrictive covenants. And the Westport area is in close proximity to the Country Club Plaza, which is where the restrictive covenants began historically here, which prohibited Blacks from doing business and living in these areas. And so when this case came forward, it was really evident that the city of Kansas City, Missouri, should also be held to account on their failure to protect the civil rights of residents of Kansas City as it relates to our entertainment districts, being the Plaza, the Westport area, the Power and Light District downtown. And we've experienced historically this racial discrimination relative to managing the crowd, changing the music, the playlist, having, when you get a tipping point of the number of African Americans in a social establishment, then the music shifts to maybe from hip hop or R&B to country and Western to make the environment less inviting. So Kansas City has a pattern of perpetuating racial discrimination as it relates to equitable access for African Americans in business and the entertainment districts across the board.
When the Kansas City, Missouri, they give leases and licenses to an all-white board of private owners, they become really complicit in this situation. It's economic apartheid. Now it's up to the courts to see if the law finally catches up with reality we actually live in.
Execution of the rule is where the problem comes into place, and that's where we step in.
Okay.
It's how the rule is applied differently to Blacks than it is to whites, and that was the problem that we anticipated would occur when they vacated their responsibility under federal law to protect the civil rights of their residents. They abdicated that responsibility to the merchants, and therefore the merchants have the power to do whatever, enforce their rules however they see fit. So it's not the rule, it's the execution.
So in ending the question I have, there's gentrification everywhere. They're pushing various families out, many people. Now is Westport a historic square, or is it a private club where membership is determined by the color of the skin? Now, if the courts find these brothers have been extorted and coerced off their leases, this RICO case right here can change the nightlife of Kansas City. It can change a big landscape. There's a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of independent owners that are waiting for this opportunity, and I believe they should get it. We waited too long. So with that, you stay aware, you be informed, and please be safe. In a minute.